Welcome to Friday, the last day of week 4 in our process, in our legislative process. This week I'm really excited. As you probably know, I am the chair of Public Education Appropriations this year, which means that we review all the requests for appropriations for public education, and then we make recommendations to executive appropriations. And executive appropriations is House and Senate leadership. And then they make the final decisions on our budget that we vote on at the last week of the session. But what I'm excited about is we have been meeting, working very, very hard and listening to requests for appropriation. And people come and they have ideas for things that they feel will help public education, and they submit those to us. And then we look at funding. This year we tried something just a little bit different than has been done generally. We decided that one of the best things we could do is make sure that LEAs, and LEAs are local education agencies, which means districts and schools. And, we have 41 school districts in our state, and we have getting close to 150 charter schools. So there's a number of them. But what we sometimes do up here is we find programs that we think are good, and we fund them as grant programs or whatever, which means we give little tiny pieces of funding down to LEAs, and then we tell them exactly what they have to do with it, which is appropriate sometimes, but sometimes our LEAs feel overwhelmed. And they feel overwhelmed with doing things, even trying to put into practice the many bills and programs that we've told them to do during our session, and it's overwhelming and it's hard to do a good job. And so it's difficult. So this year we said, let's not fund a lot of the smaller requests, and let's put more money in larger pots and give it to the LEAs as money that they can then decide what to do with. For example, school safety has been a big concern up here for the last few weeks in this session, and there's quite a few bills on school safety. And there's a desire to make sure that the physical facilities, our schools themselves, are safe. But different districts and different schools in different areas have made their schools safe or not. They're in a different place in that process. So it's a little bit hard to say, now you schools, districts that have already put in measures to make your schools safe, well, we're not going to give you any money. We're only going to give the money to people who haven't done it yet. And that seems unfair. So what we did is we took some one-time money and we put a large amount of money, and we're going to send it down to the districts equally, and districts and schools equally, and then they can decide where they're at, what they need to do next. And that's an example. Also, there's some money in some one-time pots to help schools with academics. And generally, we've tried to put it in a flexible way and send it down to districts. And I'm so excited because we did present it to executive appropriations, and they were very complimentary and liked the approach we took. I don't know if they will approve it exactly the way we sent it, but they liked our approach. And I was excited because I feel like we have amazing teachers and amazing administrators in our schools and districts, and they can make great decisions with how to spend the money in the way that's best for the children. So that was really exciting for me. The other thing that happened this week, today actually, I passed a bill out of the House. And this bill is just adding some clarifying language into the code. So currently, a person who is enrolled as a homeschool student can take classes at the public school, a class or a couple of classes, and there's a formula that allows them to have some money to do that in the public schools. And we call that dual enrollment. So this bill is the opposite. It's allowing a student who is registered as a public school student in a local school. It allows them to do a class or a couple of classes at home with help from and under the direction of their public school. so they would be able to do some but still remain registered as public school student. And I'm excited about that because I think, again, that provides more options. And actually, in the process of putting together this bill this summer, I went through, and with the help of some of my very smart friends who are school board members, went through and looked at all the options that are available for students in Utah, in public schools and private schools and charter schools, and which are public schools, and just all kinds. And surprisingly, for most people, there's, depending on how you break it down, there's anywhere from 11 to 17 options, different options that are available. And I think this is such great news. And it shows that in the state of Utah, over time, we have looked for ways to give options to families and students, because not all students and not all families are the same, and their needs are different. But we have many, many great options. So I was glad to add some clarity. In my bill, a lot of, it's kind of assumed that that could be true, but it wasn't defined in code. So it just defined it in code and add clarity to say that, yes, that can happen. And this is how the money will stay with the LEA. So anyway, I'm excited for that. It was a great bill. There's been other things going on. It's pretty exciting. Oh, I need to tell you about something. I will be participating in a town hall on Saturday, February 18th, and it will be held at Alta High School. And it will be in conjunction with Representative Steve Elison and Representative Robert Spenlove. And we would love to have any of you come and participate. It's a great time to ask your questions and to hear from us what's happening and what we're doing. We love that opportunity to talk to you and to listen to you. So as always, keep the emails and coming and phone calls, and love to engage with you in what you think is important. And I'll be looking forward to seeing you again next week. Thanks.